One, recording. Okay. So the conversation, well, the first thing I want to address is a comment in regards to the Jade figurine. So as we know, the Jade figurine is a legendary artifact that gives you a 33% chance to just refresh your turn. Super powerful, super good. And, you know, the conversation was also involving save scumming. And basically, you know, the ideas that were pitched was if you can save scum, then the 33% chance for the Jade figurine to trigger might as well be a 100% chance, because you can just keep trying over and over again until you get the refresh. And then you can use the blessing power to refresh again, and then you can use the Jade figurine to refresh again. Now, it's very easy. It's very easy to hear an argument and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's true." Because I think for whatever reason, we've really invited a lot of curious, smart, open-minded folks to our Discord and to our beta team, which is awesome. I love being able to curate the people that I hang out with. But also, you know, I don't think that's a good idea at all, because that's just like, then you completely remove the gambling RNG luck factor, which can be fun, right? First time chat from Asarius. Hi Asarius, give us a follow. If you want it to happen 33% of the time, why not just make it happen once every 3 turns? Yeah, that was an idea that was brought up. I can get along with that one a lot better than 100% with, like, it was like, we'll just make it 100% with like 20 capacity cost. Like, no, that's not a good idea. I think samurai should be moved out of archer upgrades, given to spearmen and soldiers, and given guardian too. Well, spearmen don't have guardian. The sentinel does, but that's just save scumming. Hi, Milo. That'd be like using save states to get a different result. The argument seems really silly. Yeah, so Chill Saber, with champions as Vi getting guardians, I can't see KC samurais anymore. Yeah, they're weakened now, I would say, by comparison. They're still very tanky archers, so that's kind of cool. Can't you save a pre-generated sequence of yes or no's for that 33% issue? No, let's not talk about like the programming technical side of it. Like, we can do anything in enough time, right? So let's just assume that whatever solution can be done, right? I mean, as soon as you reload the pre-generated system, yeah, that's another like technical thing. Focus more on the design aspect, like what's fun for the end user. Yeah. Advil says, or Mithrin says, see, the thing is, we don't see this as a problem, it needs to be solved. Yeah, it really that's true. Being able to, I mean, with the exception of save scumming Jade figurine, I really would like to get rid of that level of save scumming. But in terms of like everything else involved with this, I completely, it doesn't need to be solved really. It is okay. We'll just keep reading comments. So, yeah, if people want to save scum at the level RNG procs, I'd say let them do it. It's going to be like 10 people in the world. No, I completely disagree with that part of it. I don't. It's not going to be 10 people in the world. Okay, let me try and clarify my point here. And this is where the other developer, Mithrin, and I might disagree, which is fine. We disagree all the time, and which is why we're kind of a check on each other, right? Sometimes I have screwball ideas that he calls out, and sometimes vice versa, right? It's all good. But I don't. So what Advil said, Advil like is like one of our smartest, like super awesome player. Like, I love this guy, but I don't agree with what you just said. if people want to save scum at the level of RNG procs, the thing is, though, when you give the ability to do that, it becomes like a part of the expected core loop. It becomes like, well, you have to save scum, you know. And by the way, I have to stop saying you know so much. If you could not save scum that, then the Jade figurine becomes what it's supposed to actually be, which is a random chance to, you know, like when you're, there I did it again. When you are equipping the Jade figurine, you are, and if you're not like a veteran player that knows you can save scum or knows that you can actually get up to 4 turns in one phase, then you're going to say, okay, 33% chance to get an extra turn. You know, that's less than 50%. How good is this item really? Like, so taking up an entire slot, it's 5 capacity cost, and it's only 33%. So it seems like it's a gamble. That's what I want. That's what we want. We want it to be a meaningful decision. Like, I want to have this be like, okay, I'm not going to put armor on, which gives you know, HP and armor. I'm going to instead put this gambly thing on there, right? Which is the point. Like, it's the whole point, you know. I gotta how do I stop saying you know? Okay, I'll keep reading. Dear Valroth, it gets into the idea that the most effective way of playing games should be the fun way to play a game. Otherwise, people will optimize away from fun. Yeah, basically, yeah. I think the ability to influence Clinton says, I think the ability to influence RNG with save scum feels scummy, but I personally choose never to exploit it. Even the shop RNG bothered me, not the RNG itself, but the RNG for refresh and reload. Yeah, it bothers me too. And not because I'm like, oh, you can't cheat. Like, I don't care. Like, people hack and crack games and they put cheat engines in and whatever. Like, people will just like find like a hacker who will write up a console build for random video games and like install a cheat engine. You know, we're not trying to stop cheating. What we're doing is trying to make the gameplay fun. And some things are, if you say, here's your piece of cheese, mouse, but it's something you instinctively want to go eat, but it's going to make you less fun. You're going to eat it anyway, but it'll be less fun anyway. So we have to corral the player experience, you know? We have to tailor it. Asari says, I think giving Samurai a dodge type talent would be cool, though I don't really Samurai right now. Yeah, more evasion for Samurai, you know, so they can be a heavy unit that fits into a light squad, for example. That's a good idea. Mithrin says, save scumming is a thing we definitely don't want to be best practice or path of least resistance, because the practice of doing so goes against, or outside the game, the process is... exactly, yeah. You're better than I could have said it. Even if you like the outcomes, the process sucks for the fun out of the stuff. Yep, perfect. First time chat from Skakutalo. Who is coming at us from Bangladesh, right? Am I right? We need an exchange for artifacts. I don't know about that. Advil says, I'm basing it on the fact that it didn't come up in Discord for literal months, which is certainly not all-encompassing, but it's something. Okay. I highly doubt there are a significant number of people who will quick load every turn from the point where they get the Jade onward. I disagree with that. I think there's tons of people who do. And I think that is a lame, unfun way to play. I don't care if they do it. Like, that's their decision. We put it in the game, right? But, like, I want people to have more fun, you know? It's already one of the best items in the game using it normally. It is, yeah, it really is, yeah. Even if you don't scum ever, it's an awesome item. I did it once. I figured out that you could, but not all the time. Just depended on the situation and whether I was worried about my units dying because I was playing permadeath. Sure. Personally, the only time I've even tried save scumming is in Chapter 12 to get How. Sure. Oh, no, who's... Somebody... Croatia. Oh, it's Devon. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Devon. He's from Bangladesh. Chill Saber says, I think you could limit save scumming by having fixed types of things in the shop in some... We've already kind of done that. No, not you. Devon. There's a different Devon. Where is he? Dante, not Devon. Dante. I'm thinking of Dante. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even that old, and I already have like this thing where your mom calls, like, if you have siblings, they just call you different names, and your actual name is the last one. I would rather put an Excalibur on the tank squad than a 33% chance to take another turn, but it was very nice in the Jewel squad. I think it's really rare that an artifact would be more powerful, averaged out over time, than the Jade figurine. The Jade figurine is insane. Even if you only get 33% chance. If you end up getting, like, do 100 turns and 33 of them are refreshes, that's much more powerful than another artifact that just gives stats. Main character of the story. Oh, Devoa. No, Devon is D. Valroth, and Dante is a user from Bangladesh. God of Wolf said, not gonna lie, I always leave Jade on the MC after they come back since I like the thematic of it. It feels like they're just blessing themselves extra. Yeah, I do that too. Also because the MC squad is like usually, I think it's usually most people's strongest squad just because the MC gains leadership so fast. Only if the free turn is meaningful, though. Jade figurine is particularly powerful on cavalry units. Yeah, it is. I find Jade figurine flawed where movement of squads is important tactically. You can't depend on it. Yeah, I do. The way I play Skaku is like what you just said. Like, I'm a conservative player. I don't like chances, even though like I assume, especially in multiplayer competitive, I assume that if there's not a 100% chance, I assume that it's a 0% chance. So you don't plan for it, right? But if it happens, then it's a bonus. Maya Magic says, my issue with Jade figurine is a dead slot 66% of the time. Yeah, and I think there's usually a more impactful thing to put in that slot. Yeah. Refresh is great, but reliability is king, and high difficulties, especially if there's an Iron Man mode. Yeah. Advil says, Jade figurine plus Blessing Abuse on a squad capable of full surrendering in one phase is insane. I regularly get 4 squad surrenders from no chance in a turn with it. Yeah. Okay, so where's that comment? Come on. All right, so the comment was, I think it is better to keep the current state of Jade figurine in save scumming without making the outcome the same. The difficulty level has to be considered because the only... Okay, here's where it gets... The only way to train units is arena, since all chapters include side missions are not redoable. Yeah. High difficulty requires more preparation. Yeah, so far. Thus, it affects game progression. You can see some of them are stuck at certain chapters already at high difficulty. I've never heard of someone getting stuck in this game. Who's ever gotten stuck, even their first playthrough? And save scumming is just a way to help them progress through, else they have no grind arena. Save scumming is just a means to an end in a helpless situation, especially at the last boss on Warlord difficulty. Also, going by the conventional way of having your troops deal with the reinforcement in the last stage might not work because they are bound to a few units in a certain squad getting one shot by a Dragoon or Cannon if you can't reach it in time, so making changes to save scumming might force everyone to grind arena. Okay, so this is an easy one. If the game is encouraging people or making people think that they have to save scum in order to be unstuck, that's a problem with the game, not the Jade figurine, and not with save scumming. That requires a much more comprehensive high altitude solution. Chill Saber, don't even need surrender attacks with new ambush artifact. Yeah. Devalra, I don't even have Jade and didn't have the issue first run Warlord blind. Maya Magic, the only in chapter 12 people are being stubborn. Oh yeah, for stuckness. I like the variety of artifact effects. That's one game strength I haven't really thought about until right now. Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. I did like the 4 caches toolkits, though, so walls did not exist. I never felt stuck in SoW. It's a very smooth playthrough. Now I'd say the problem with the player, how you can get stuck in this game. I love how, like, there's all these serious comments, and then Milo just comes in with a very Milo-esque, just a goofball. Love that guy. I think most of what we're arguing about is related to efficiency rather than hyper challenge. Yeah, that's a great point. The average, I think the average Fire Emblem trope is that, you know, you lose one unit and you have to start over. So you lose. You didn't lose in game, like your lord didn't die and you didn't lose your home base or whatever, but you lost because you lost a unit and you had to reset. So it's a perception of loss, you know. Sometimes it's like, oh, I only win if I get through completely perfectly and smoothly. God was the only time I got stuck was when I tried 20E and Warlord straight after getting the side quests. 20E is hard, yeah. Chill Saber, Chapter 9 is one of the toughest every time I play. Units are beefy, have high damage, T3 units, and many. Yes, Chapter 9 is a difficulty spike for sure. Some of them even gain Guardian now. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of champions and Zweihanders in Chapter 9. So it was already hard, but now it's even harder. Well, you guys asked for it. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. What was I rambling about? So, ultimately, what I think is the best is that we don't have small-scale save scumming in any capacity at all. I don't know. Maybe just on Warlord. Like on Warlord, it should just be. I don't know, fixed seed for everything. I don't know how technical that is, but we've actually already taken multiple steps to alleviate the RNG aspect of it. We've added in guaranteed artifact slots for the bazaars. It's just double cost, but you pay a premium for it, but it's a guaranteed slot. We've added in more slots for artifacts. We've shifted around the loot tables. We added in a lot more books and scrolls, which people really like. Add it for the hard mode. We are badgering you for a little while ago. We're not gonna just. I continue to try and tweak Warlord so that it becomes reasonably challenging all the way through. Lunatic mode, we're gonna have to. It's not gonna make it on this next patch, guys. We're gonna have to make AI changes for that. So it's truly gonna be like we might even have them ignore the threat aspect and just go for optimization. Like they might be able to predict exactly what their best battle is gonna be by simulating out all the battles that they could fight. And then be absolutely ruthless, because we don't want omniscient enemies in a normal difficulty situation. You do want most enemies to be dumb, right? Because it's fun to just kill them. But then in lunatic mode, maybe you do want them all to be omniscient. Yeah, there's also a Mithrin. There's also a pity drop mechanic that ticks it even if you don't get those Legos. So yeah, I think we've already added in enough help to get stuff that you couldn't get from RNG that we can completely remove shop save scumming. I really do. This is the next thing I was going to bring up. The information horizon is an important thing most people tend to ignore when talking about scumming. What was that a response to? Even fixed seed is weirdly scummable. You can replay a turn and explore all the possible outcomes and find an optimal path. Yeah, it does at least mostly stop the little micro save scums. I at least want to stop, like Jade Figurine crits surrenders. Get out of here, man. That is like way too much save scumming. That's a hill I will die on, Advil says, I just want them to be smart enough to attack the attackers archers instead of walking into my wall of shields, stuff like that. Lunatic mode, every enemy squad uses entire leader tactic. Yeah. Alright, so enough about Thanks, Milo. Thanks, Milo. Oh, Milo, remind me to bring up the sequel and how some of the character designs. I want to talk about those a bit because we have a different artist. It's really, really nice. But there was a... Did I skip over this debate that was happening in the beta branch channel? Oh, the resource exchange. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And Advil beat me to it. Okay, thank you for that. All right. Boomer alert. Okay. If anyone played Tactics Ogre PSP, Scum in Combat is literally built into the game as a mechanic that you can see the various ways you can exploit it. God, just bear with me here. I usually have allergies, but like lately I I don't know what's going on. It's dry as a bone where I live, but I'm still getting like crazy, just like throat inflammation. It's driving me nuts. But it's all sort of sanctioned there because it is built in. Yeah. I don't know what that specific mechanic is, but it is definitely not built into Symphony of War. Because what is built into Symphony of War is the fact that you can meaningfully make all your decisions well before. That's what's built in. That's the fun part. And that brings us to resource exchange. So, okay. So, I think it's a really good feature. We're not going to just get rid of it. And believe me, the two of us have talked about this ad nauseum. Yes, Clinton brings up the first problem that I agree with. It boils down to not a single resource, 2 resources. There's 6 resources in the game. Iron Gems Horses is a tier 1 resource. Obsidian, Pyrosite, Sunstone is a tier 2 resource. So there's 2 right now. I don't like that. I like having 6 resources. I like there to be, and so do you, by the way. If you think you don't, you do. Sorry. Because it's the same reason that we don't make the promotion path the same for every class tree and for differentiating dragons from humans, and then how we're going to continue to differentiate progression in the sequel by having a beast meta and ship meta. It's the same reason. It's because there's variety, diversity. It's different ways that you can play the game, right? And it also gives us the ability to add more resource nodes into the map, which is fun. It's fun to grab resource nodes on the map. It really is. The problem with exchanging at cost is... okay. Mithrin, can you help me out here? We came up with a problem with like a gold fee. I don't know. To me, maybe it was just the fact that it's lame. It's just not. It's not a sexy idea to me. It's not like. It's like what a bean counter would come up with. Not saying you guys' ideas are bad. We welcome all your feedback. It's just in terms of like how we would want to implement it. We typically want to have better ideas than just adding a fee to something. I see that as a Band-Aid fix. Like I would rather go about it a different way. Yeah, the fee is difficult to balance out, it for sure. Why just have a toggle on resource exchange like permadeath? No. It should just be part of the game. I would simply make exchange happen at a cost. I would still use it. Of course you would. More variety. So the cost. That's the reason why we don't want to do cost, because it's meaningless. Unless it's either meaningless because it's a small fee, or it's a pain in the ass and unfun because of the large fee. Right? There is no middle ground there. If there is, it's a razor thin margin where we have balanced it perfectly with the rest of the economy that it's fun. I don't think it can be done. Does that make sense? So, yeah, of course you would use it if it's a small fee, because you're getting all this free sunstone. You would pay big money for that. So, More variety is always better, and I like thinking resources change is fine. I'm also for fee. Also, it punished new player exploration of the systems. Well, see, that is another thing. Other than the tech tree, we don't do fees. Or, I mean, well, the tech tree doesn't have fees, but it doesn't have respec ability. We have flexibility. The resources are allocated. So it's really weird to add a gold fee to an allocation style. And we're definitely not going to remove the allocation part of it. That is core. That is core Symphony of War gameplay, right? Also, the only resources that I'm never excited to have is Pyrosite. Yeah, well, the problem with that is the problem with the units that Pyrosite uses, not the Pyrosite. But we've got ideas for that. You know, to improve the gunner especially. Dragoon is already a powerful unit with full tech. But I think their targeting needs some work. Chillsaber makes some more resources being used for upgrades like mages require Pyrosite and Sunstone. Could be more of a strain to benefit and has much from exchange. Yeah, not a bad idea. Only in Bazaar was my best idea so far. I think making it cost a ton would be actually restrictive on the money's limit intended for, yes. Part of the problem is Blast Furnace, yes. Guys, I want to get rid of Blast Furnace. I hate it. I hate it. What's it called? Industrial Furnace? It's the capstone tech for the right-hand tech tree. It's stupid. It's just the worst. It's the worst designed tech. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it was my idea, I think. So, but if we take it away now, then that's like, oh, the devs are nerfing everything. It could also change Blast Furnace to only affect cost of iron and give some form of buff to units using Obsidian instead. Yeah, I like the direction. I don't know about that exactly, but Asteria says, I like that Sunstone is rare and it should feel like it's rare. Yes. Allocation is nice. Yes, of course it is. Advil says, it obviously doesn't ruin the game for me, but I have played dozens of games that just use medallions or whatever for promotion regardless of class, and I prefer that. I like the variety of class progression SoW has, but I don't get my added fun from not getting the promotion I want because I didn't meet the 4th requirement for having the resources after already meticulously recruiting and using proper affinities, and then raising them to max CP and meeting stat requirements. Yeah, so you have CP, you have stats, and you have resources, and you have class, prerequisites. Yeah, I guess there's really, I don't know, no easy way to make that kind of player happy at the same time as the scarcity player happy. I am a scarcity player. I think it is fun to not have everything that you need at all times. I think it's fun to have to pursue something, which is why I happen to think that once you get around chapter 24, 25, 26, 27 in that area, where there is a little bit of a difficulty spike in SoW, like 26 is I think a pretty hefty chapter. So is 24. That's when your army is like usually done. You're maxed out. Like you're just able to just shit on everything, right? And that's why those chapters to me are really fun, because that's the first time where your army's maxed out and you're able to test it out. Okay, I got all these cool toys. Let's play with them. Cool. And after that, it's I think nice story stuff is happening, but like challenge level's not there, right? So, and also challenge level's not there, and also your army's done. You're not growing anymore, right? So the fun level for me drops. I want to add a tier 4, which is an extremely ambitious thing. It's not going to happen for this game. The sequel, I want to have tier 4 for the regular promotion path, and then after tier 4, you would have the gold proof of merit promotions, right? Which is extremely ambitious. I don't know how I'm going to get the art resources for it, but we'll figure it out. Continuing on with chat, Mithrin says, uneven exchanges, stuff costs more to trade, and it also feels against the spirit of the game. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We don't want to do that. Maya Magic says, with full tech, kills them to begin with, just gut it. Gut Industrial Furnace. I want the tech that lets gunners have 2 attacks just to be normal, rather than locked on the tech tree. Maybe. But the whole point of those units is that they are tech dependent. That's what makes them different from mages and heavy infantry and all that stuff, which are more organically grown. These are industrial troops. So you're using resources and you're using tech to get them. So that's kind of their flavor. We'll got to keep that. Do what's best for the game, Blast Furnace. First time chat from Kobito999. Hello, Kobito999. Did you ever want to implant some sort of mage wielding tech in the game? What do you mean? Like a magic physical hybrid? I love magic physical hybrids. Can you clarify what you mean? Asarius says it's why gunners feel weak. They're actually quite good, but only with one attack. With only one attack in turn, they don't feel impactful. Given every other unit gets a bunch of attacks. That's how I felt about endurance and why I want it back. In regards to the fun of challenging our final. Yeah, Advil. You're the kind of player. It seems like it's split right down the middle. There's like abundance players, which I consider you, Advil, and I consider Mithrin that. And then there's scarcity players, which is me and Devin, apparently. So it seems like it's just half and half, man. It's so hard to split that balance, you know. And I think here's the punchline. I wanted to wait to get to the punchline here, but the punchline is eventually. Now Mithrin might actually find out where I live and want to kill me in real life for saying this, but I want to do this, right? And I think everyone would love this, including him. An entirely new game mode, maybe not for this game, but for the sequel. Maybe for this game, like in a DLC. It would have to be a DLC because it would be a monumental effort, like a paid DLC. A sandbox-style, Heroes of Might and Magic style, sandbox style campaign mode, like completely different game almost, where you have one starting fort and it's almost like Warcraft 3. Like you branch out from your starting area and kill neutrals, level up your stuff, get more resources, get more experience and items. At the beginning of every turn is basically a home base sequence. You can, customize your stuff. You have full access to all the tools all the time in that same map, rather than going between home base and map. And then that can just keep going. That can just keep going and going and going. And then you would have like a Heroes of Might and Magic style objective out in the map somewhere. That is the resource exchange, right? Then you could have it cost gold, because what happens in Heroes of Might and Magic is every turn you generate resources, right? And that could be the way gold works in that game mode, right? Instead of a one-time thing, which is very RPG, which was the purpose of why we specifically designed it that way. We used to have sim aspects to it, or like 4X aspects to it, but this is an RPG. So we made it one-time reward for capturing towns, right? If it was the Heroes of Might and Magic style, it would be more of a 4X style or a sim style, right? Which is kind of what Heroes of Might and Magic is. It's RPG/sim hybrid. That would satisfy the abundance player base. Because why would you restrict? You wouldn't restrict anything. You would want to just start small and then grow infinitely, right? And I think that would be using the Symphony of War system. Oh my God! Can you imagine how awesome that would be? Like, oh my God. So I hope it can be done. Probably not for a long time, but so that's the punchline. To have a different game mode that serves that purpose, but then the campaign, the story mode, most games like StarCraft, Warcraft, they all have a story mode and then they have like free play mode, right? The story mode is where the scarcity player thrives, because you have mostly a linear path and you have not everything you need at any time. You're trying to make the best of what you have, Whereas in the free play mode, you're trying to just get everything. And both plays are super fun to me. It's just when you're trying to satisfy both player types in the main story campaign mode, you're making compromises. You know what I mean? Okay, let me catch up. That was a big rant, but that would be so awesome, guys. Advil says that's why. Amelia Clark's eyebrows, I love that name. Are gunners and crossbows less reliant on stats? Yes, they're super not reliant on stats. Although they should still have HP and skill. They're pretty actually reliant on those two stats. I noticed their weapon is mega high, but other stats gross seem lower. They're not lower per se. They're just they get magic degrowth actually. They certainly have lower HP than heavies, for example, and lower strength than heavies and archers. Clinton V says, typically in design and in human psychology in general, frequent but small meaningful choices is the way to go for maximum enjoyment. The most fun choice is what unit you want to aim for and what you can do to get the resource required for it. Yes, apart from exchanging, there isn't much you can do to aim in a specific direction resource-wise. God of Wolves says, I don't really have a problem with the exchange. I've been doing more early game for a bit with my grid to how the current beta, and I still feel the resource scarcity personally, and I have been moving around resources like crazy trying to personalize the army. Okay. Tech wielding mage. Tech wielding mage. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That's cool. Diavala says, yep. Oh, hell yes. I probably sometime in my rant that was a response to. That would be so high. Oh, that was the HOM mode. I'd love this. Yeah, who wouldn't love that, man? That'd be awesome. God Home and South Style. I would love that. Yeah. So what we would do, not just copy Heroes of Magic. As much as both Mithra and I freaking love Heroes of Might and Magic, I would want to have it be God mode. Like, not maybe if it's not actual gods, like actual like deities, it would be God mode in that the player is God mode. Like you would have Nephilim powers as just a standard part of your progression as the commander of your army, right? And so would the enemies, right? So you would always have those like non-squad based things that you can do. Try to picture that as if this was a mecha style game or like a StarCraft style game. One of your god abilities would be aerial bombardment from an orbital battleship, right? So, Asteria says, Kobito99, it's more of a visual design idea, to be honest, but I think something like Devoa Lindley, upper class in terms of gameplay, I guess. Sure. Time to give you more money. Oh my gosh. Where's the future on a fry meme? Yeah, man. Boy. We got to get this SoW 2's Kickstarter going. It's too early, I think. Chill Saber, can we just be random encounters with randomly generated units and mines and you get some random rewards like items, troops at the end of an encounter? Can just be... Yes, but then that's a compromise on the story scarcity mode that I was talking about. That's one of the reasons why Fire Emblem 8 is my least favorite entry in the entire series, even more than some of the bad story versions that we've gotten slightly after Awakening and before Three Houses. Because you can grind the tower. Why would you not grind the tower and trivialize the game? And who cares? It's about the game, right? This sucks. My favorite entries are the harder ones with lots of scarcity. Fire Emblem 5 comes to mind. Fire Emblem 5 is like, it kicks you in the balls so hard. And that's like, and in terms of resource scarcity, you actually find yourself feeling like you have to steal, you can steal in that game, you can capture enemy troops and steal their shit. You actually feel like you have to. It's crazy. It's so fun to me. You feel like you're the little ragtag rebellion, and you are in the game, spoiler alert. And you feel like you have to steal supplies instead of just buying them, which totally makes sense to me from an immersion point of view, I have not played Songs of Conquest, Amelia's Clark's Eyebrows, but only because I am playing other things, not because it looks cool. I, of course, would be very curious to see someone paying homage to Heroes of Might and Magic, so... Stir has absolutely no bearing on damage for the... Yeah. Advil says, I'm definitely down for sandbox endless type mode. Yes. Sounds amazing. Let us know. D-Valor says, Master of Magic worked that way. You are super wizard with god powers, and you also had squads of troops out in the world. Yep. Man, that'd be so awesome. Maybe if it was actually gods, you had the god of whatever and the other god of whatever, and therefore your army was themed around that god, right? Let's just speak very simple RPG terms. The god of fire, right? You would have meteor, you would have make a fire hazard on the map, you would have all sorts of weird stuff. Your fire spells would be stronger, but then you wouldn't have access to ice mages, lightning mages, silver dragons, stuff like that. Just the themed armies, themed gods. That'd be fucking awesome, man. Abel says, perhaps Furnace could give you shipments of resources every chapter or every... That's it. That's a cool idea. I love this idea so far. It won't work because then you would be incentivized to get it like first, because then you maximize the time you have it. But it's a super cool idea. I love it because it's a furnace. So you have a factory here. So I love it. But that's more of a 4X sim style idea. So I like your thinking. Having an incentive to pick it up earlier. Amelia Clark's eyebrow says, was Master of Magic that super old game that was like Age of Wonders? I don't know. God of Wolves says, aren't the Nephilim reincarnations of old Denari gods? They're like hosts of spoilers for the sequel. Age of Wonders is a super simplified version of Master of Magic clone. You have Civilization Magic Gathering. It needs that kind of incentive. The other two trees are too appealing. Yeah. We just need to buff gunnery, man. Mithrin and I had the idea of at some point having gunners have 2 shots naturally, but the second shot is less powerful or less accurate, and then that tech would make it so they're both full power or something like that. That tech at one point was a dual capstone where it actually increases their range to 2. Man, I don't know. Range 2 gunnery. Ugh. That sounds way too strong to me. Because archery attacks are actually rather weak, but the reason their archers are still awesome is because they have range 2. And then range in this game is not like Fire Emblem. It's where it's like across the room, right? Range in this game is like a football field. And so that's why archers do the, arced attack for long-range shots, and then they do a horizontal angle at point blank because it's like a long distance. We were actually having a whole debate about like how we should design ranged beasts, and how that would even work. Because like, what beast other than like, I don't know, what kind of beast would have a range of a football field? You know what I mean? Like that kind of ranged attack only really comes like in terms of what's easily pops to mind is, archers and cannons, humans, manticore tail spikes, Starcraft range. Well, those are Zerg, yeah. Avil says, if people are scared of cannons now, just imagine all those Dragoon squads having 2 range late game. Oh, God. That would be so strong. Spiders shooting webs, cobras spitting poisons. Yeah, we were thinking about, like, spores, poisons, or, like, something throwing boulders, or whatever. Mages were originally two map tile range, then just Beardrakes, then neither. They dominated this field of play instead of archers, which are in super good place now. Archers are perfect now, man. Perfect. I mean, the alternative is to shove the good mage tech into the same place in tech tree instead of being so easy to get now. Dragon Breath increased range. No. Actually, by the end game, the only units I felt really worried about were my mages. Guys, what if Dragon Riders had 2 range? Dragons they're already really strong. It would be 1 attack at range and 2 attacks at close range. Okay. Anyway, we got way off the path here. Resource exchange. So we're almost at 3 o'clock here. I think we haven't actually done any gameplay. Whatever. We weren't gonna do any gameplay anyway. We're just talking about ideas here. Well, yeah, the sequel can have, or paid DLC can have more classes that, would be like a Dragon Rider, except without the insane power of a Dragon Rider, but they would have the 2 range. That would be kind of cool. Like a Wyvern or something that's a little
a little skinnier than a dragon, but like maybe it can like lob a fireball really far. So that would be kind of cool. I actually already have a sprite for a turtle, a giant turtle that spins around really fast and shoots spore-like spikes as a ranged attack. So, all right, resource exchange. What do we want to do here, guys? Okay, let me just throw out what I want to do, which isn't automatically what's going to happen or what's the best idea, but this is my idea right now. We keep it in the home base on chapter 30 because there's no point to it having a bazaar or anything after chapter 30 because you can't use the resources, whatever. And then only have it in the bazaar. But keep it as an arena token. So you can always exchange arena tokens in the home base. But then the resource exchange can only happen in the bazaar. But then the full exchange, as is, stays in chapter 30, the last chapter. What do you think? I like it as is, but I'm also okay with a worse exchange rate for the Bazaar exclusive. First time chat from Warbludo. Warbludo. Warbluto. Popeye. Warbludo. What's your Discord name? Give us a follow, by the way. Have you considered making units that do AoE damage? Yes. I think that would be more along the lines of a god power that was more readily available rather than just something that's late game. But yeah. My only major comment is the permanent parasite use cases need to be buffed. I agree. God of Wolves, I think toggle on and off. No, I don't think so. I think we wouldn't do it that way. Bazaar is interesting because you will only be trading unused resources rather than potentially all of them. Yeah. I mean, the argument against that was basically like, oh, you can plan for which maps have a bazaar, and then you can like unequip all of your like obsidian and pyrite using units, and then just put them all in the sunstone, and then like retool after the chapter's done, which is like that's a level of gaminess that like you know what. Trying to stop that is a waste of time, right? So, can have it spawn randomly rather than always be fixed to where a wandering caravan passes by and makes it available for one. The wandering caravan idea is awesome, by the way. I've played sim games where you have like your bases and then you have the wandering merchant that has more rare, more cool stuff, or just better prices on stuff. Clinton says Bazaar allowing cost-free exchange. Yes, it's stay cost-free. Means it's the same as right now, but you just have to wait longer. You have to wait longer, but you also can't just readily do it at any time. But the sacrifice you got to make, it makes the chapter harder. I think it's fine. Considered as special actions, this sort of quickly takes over the meta if you can wipe out more than one squad in one action. We like encouraging to build wide with big armies and multiple squads. Yes, because that's where we think the fun is. Yes, it is. Wandering Bazaar is an interesting idea. Yeah, it really is. It really is a great idea, actually. Like, you just show up to your home base, and then you get a dialogue. It's like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. That's kind of the idea behind the random loot in the existing shops, is like you'll have, you know, it requires a little bit of your suspension of disbelief, but like, you know, you have like a wandering merchant that shows up with, hey, look at this, I got this temporal modulator here for 1 billion zillion gold. Hey, stranger, what are you buying? Buy something, will ya? Oh, God, what is that game from? What game is that from? Help me out here. Young people. What is buy something, will ya? RE4? What's RE4? I do think it's important improvement because it gives you... Oh, Zelda 1? Really? Oh, God. The game was released when I was born, almost. I exaggerate. I remember Mithrin, I think it was, saying he wanted to remove T1 conscripts spawning with traits. If anything, I would rather always have the option for one every time. Ooh, yeah, that's another debate that raged on. It's obviously better now. Two traits or two trait slots with more books is way better than one trait slot and random traits that you can save scum for. Bar none. End of discussion. Sorry. It's so much better. And we also added another trait slot, empty slot, to the protagonist. Well, there's a tech that literally trying to get more merchants to come by. Yeah. Zelda 1. Zelda 1 is buy something really. The merchant is very nonplussed at links. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Is there a plan for more Titan class? Go tier 4 in that direction of super units. Oh, okay, okay. Super units, yes. We actually played around with the idea of that in this game. For example, Azeros. He is kind of like that, but he doesn't take up more space. Mython and I did discuss having like some kind of super unit meta where they would be independent of squads. It's kind of complicated, and I don't really know if we could slip it into this game, but yeah. Maybe like in the aforementioned Heroes of Might and Magic style play, where you have like gods. Maybe eventually your faction gets so strong that your god becomes a playable unit, right? And is not a squad, but just a single unit, but is so powerful that, like, you know, they can do all sorts of crazy shit on their own. Cheap conscripts are too imminently scummable. Yes, are scummable. That was part of the reason behind the change, because it wasn't just an outlier. People digging for traits on conscripts and reloading. It was becoming a dominant strategy. Yeah. Dominant strategy that was unfun. And if you guys find that fun, I'm sorry. There is a degree of, like, we want our game to be fun for us, too, right? That's true. With the new shop, I'm still sad I don't save scum, but the RNG of finding a nice one is good sometimes. Definitely not opposed to adding even more books. Yeah. The books are... There's no reason why books should be, like, scarce, really. Like, the rare ones, yeah. Yeah, adding shock and awe is cool. We added all the captain traits to books. Having our own Zanny-style multi-part unit as a squad, as its own squad sounds cool, yeah. Speaking for myself as a player. Books meaning stuff like Mint Leaves of Magic. No, those are consumable stat ups. We're talking the trait books, which we did not expect would be so fun. I agree they're fun, and we didn't think the players would find them fun, but they are fun. Super fun. What does main character and regular units get? Why does main character and regular units get 2, but others do not? The reason for that is because they're already good enough. Like, you know, your special characters come with cool traits already. And then the main character gets it because it's the main character. If I come across this game and dig for her, I'd sum for traits 100%. Yeah. I'd not have fun doing it, but I do it anyways. Yeah. My last game, I found 2 Smite Fighter conscripts, which felt awesome. Yeah. Smite is a really good skill. Yeah, I do think more books would be cool, yes, and more traits. Yeah, more traits are coming in the paid DLC, guys. And some of it's coming in the free DLC, so free updates, rather. But yeah, the paid DLC, we already have a bunch of new artifacts, and they're awesome, by the way. So artifacts, traits, classes, in the paid DLC. On the topic of fun and people killing their own fun, I totally did this when I was... doing my run. I was working towards Warlord from a HAL run. I didn't realize how restrictive it was going to be, and then stopped building units I enjoyed and chasing what I needed, and I regret it because that was what made the game, pulled the game down. Yeah. Bandit Lord is in the paid DLC already. We got that. Reduced capacity for light infantry. It's already in. Yeah. Cool, huh? We also have, let's see. Let me just give you a little... This is what you get out of coming into Twitch and hanging out with us, guys. New artifacts, not all of them, but just a few of the new ones for the paid DLC is... there's an item that gives the -2 capacity for light infantry. There's the...
There's an item that is just like that St. Teresa's tiara, except that you gain skill instead of strength for magic. There's an item that allows you to move after attacking, like a cavalry, if you're not cavalry. There's an item that grants you ignoring zones of control and plus 10 evasion at the same time. So yeah, lots of cool stuff being added. I noted the other day, Ataraxia seemed mispriced. It's better than War Banner, but cheaper than it. Will you be adjusting it? It's not worth bringing it to my attention at this point, honestly. Like, if it's mispriced, who cares? Maybe the merchant is like, we're overstocked on Ataraxia bows, or and they need to go, right? Wacky, what's wacky portable wacky whaling and inflatable? Oh boy, I used to be able to do that like off the cuff. And wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. The banners are the one that's underpriced, and the Ataraxia is overpriced. I'm responding to a Steam comment. Way too easy. Do you think this game is way too easy? Even more than Permatathon? AI seems blind rushing units without thinking. What do you guys think? We know. All right. What am I even doing here? Okay. It's 3:10. What else do you guys want to talk about? Did we feel good about like at least the conversation about the resource exchange, or does anybody else have any input on that one? There's someone here named Rob has nice nipples. Oh, the new art style. Thank you, Milo. Okay. Yeah. So I posted in our Discord. If you're not in a Discord, please follow our Discord. If you haven't thumbs up the game, please thumbs up the game on Steam. If you haven't followed our Twitch, please follow our Twitch. Let's see. Let me just... If you're somehow not in our Discord, here's the invite for our Discord. Ambush thing for the Halloween the ambush thing for Halloween artifacts. It's going to be less incredibly generous, but the item will remain in the game as a rare artifact. You just won't be able to get it through the ambush event. I also think the game depends on what you're wanting from it. I felt like I was rewarded for playing with well-built squads. Is it too easy to have well-built squads? Maybe, but I don't know how much harder the game can be without fundamentally hurting the rewarding feeling it gives. Sure. I meant like gain ambushes from being attacked. Oh, yeah. Yep, just a bug. Okay, the new art style. So I put a link to our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, why? Please join our Discord. And then the Symphony of War 2 General, I put a sprite. Hello, Weatherwolf 4. I sprite in that channel. And yeah, it's a great Discord. It's like the best Discord. With a blonde female sprite who is not Diana, okay, guys. Diana is like 300 pounds bigger than her. This is a petite. Not everything about her is petite. Okay, I'll admit, but she's generally petite. So, but yeah, that's the art style that we're going with for all of the everything but two things are petite. Okay, God. Whereas Diana is huge everywhere. Chill Saber says we all know the main character is Adelia. She's on the title screen. And that's not Adelia either. That's not her. This is like 100 years after the events of Symphony of War 1. Yeah, the art style's good. Maya says, "Oh gosh, blushing emoji." Yeah, so it's not Adelia's clone. Oh my god, I can see it now. Is that from the first game? Okay, the whole "is this from something" thing that I react to. It's like everything has to be from something. I don't know about Beatrix in Symphony of War 2. It's 100 years later at least. So is she going to be 130 years old? So I don't know. She lives that long canonically. How would you know? It's my story. Advil says, "Look, Phil, it's not our fault that 99% of content for the past 20 years has been recycled." That is true, but I am actually not. I'm not a eclectic consumer of media. I am actually not. Like, when it comes to RPGs and tactical RPGs and strategy games, I am kind of, but that's the closest it comes. Like, I've played Civilization, Galactic Civilization, Stellaris, EU4, Crusader Kings, blah, 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 blah. All these strategy games, all these RPGs, Tactics Ogre, Ogre Battle, Final Fantasy Tactics, all the tactic games, right? But in terms of other media, I'm not. And I don't watch anime. I don't read comic books. I don't play D&D. I don't watch Netflix series for the most part, except for like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. No, like, whatever. It would be. See, I don't read books. That's why I can't read the chat. Chill Saber says it would be. Oh, that's why I can't read it, because it's not good grammar. Chill Saber. It would be good to have pre-game dating base game missions to play with Kuroda to build the cult standards with. Got it. Be cool. Okay, I didn't see that. Didn't see that message. All right. So the art style is a cell shaded. Say that. She sells seashores by the. She sells seashells by the seashore. La, 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 la. It's a cell shaded line art style. I know because you told me what the Beatrix thing. I know, I'm giving you a hard time, dude. She sells seashells by the seashore. Also, I'm like, I can't breathe because of these allergies. It's making it harder to talk. What the hell was I talking about? Okay, it's line art, cell shaded style. In the first game, we went with painterly style, right? Where it's like a huge, massive resolution, like 6,000 by 3,000 resolution. And it's just like, there's no outlines. It's all just painted on. And there's a lot of smudge effects happening. So there's a lot of different colors and gradients happening everywhere. And more colors and more gradients isn't necessarily good. Right? Sometimes you want the clarity and sharpness of fewer gradients, right? And so that's what we're definitely going for with the art style we see here. Actually, let me post a little bit more. I post for the patrons. I post regularly in that channel as kind of a boost for being a patron. And so they've seen all of it, but I don't want to cheapen that, but I do want to post a little bit of additional art from some of this armor that we just got in. It looks fantastic. And that was one of the big complaints with with the first game is that here, let me post this here. Is the portraits were all blurry, and I mean, they're not blurry, they're just painterly, and so they have a lot of gradients and they have a lot of colors when they don't necessarily need to. Devalar says, I like it, that's my hill. So I just posted some armor from a character in the SoW 2 General. Yeah.
Is this tummy pokeable? Like the Pillsbury Doughboy. New art style is great, but I genuinely like the painterly art style. I'll miss it. Well, okay, it is coming. But painterly style is going to be coming back for the paid DLC for SoW 1. So, yeah. Let's just Maya. Let's just say that he's got a chainmail or some kind of gambeson underneath the plate armor, underneath his tunic, so his tummy's not pokeable. It is kind of funny to have like extremely good armor everywhere except the stomach, right? Which is like, well, gotcha. When you match the MC with Narima, you get 2 nice wild cards versus the world ending. Yeah. All right. I've been at it for an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know what the regular length of this should be or will be, but I think I'm done talking for today. But hey, we'll stick around for like 5 minutes. Is there any subjects that we didn't fully expand on or didn't get to? Let me know. Oh, by the way, follow the progress thread for upcoming patch. Not sure, but I have a question about Guardian trait. What's the question? When can we expect DLC? DLC, I'm going to say Q1 2023. Just to be... parts of it we can get done really quick. Parts of it not. Like the class stuff, it's not going to be quick. So... I think I'm good for now. There's a beta patch. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Thanks. Rings of Power does not exist in it. Is Guardian when standing in front horizon? No, Guardian is anytime ever. It's whenever you're on defense. This is just curious. Why is Delia and Zealous chosen to be in the main screen? All the things considered. Oh God, there's really no reason for it. It's the art was made in like 2017, so before like the levels were made. So I just decided to put like those 2 characters. It was like a mix of like a big armored warrior Chad and then a more tender looking healer. I think it's just a good mix of archetypes on the title screen. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Maya. I think Maya's right. I think you're thinking of Bodyguard, Weatherwolf. Covering the leader. Yeah, Bodyguard. Yeah. Is the Bodyguard standing in the front, horizontal row, or vertically? Mithrin. What is the answer to that? I don't know. I thought Zealous would come in his own army to save the day in Chapter 12. That'd be cool. Spoiler alert. No, that's not what happens. But yeah, does Bodyguard affect only behind? I think it does only affect what you're covering. But I don't know. Anyway, well, in front of, directly, or half tile, any distance in front of. Front row still covers the rearmost row. Gotcha. Yep. So if your Bodyguard's in the front, it'll cover. Bodyguard will cover. It's second row or third row leader that is either directly behind or in the half tile behind. So there's 5 tiles vertically aligned. So if there's in the second or fourth tile or the third tile right behind. My dog says hi. Hi, God of Wolves' dog, 666. All right. My voice is going to die here. I'm going to go cough up my lungs. There's a story character trait and references cover and also activates on that. Yeah. Okay. Thanks again for hanging out. It's so much fun doing these. We're going to do our best to continue to do these every Sunday at 2. I'll let you know if 2 o'clock is not a good time. If a lot of people want a different time, let me know. But yeah, this is a good place to get sneak peeks at upcoming stuff, be able to interact with us, actually influence our decisions if you have good ideas. and hang out with us. And we really love it. So, yeah, I'm done. Recommend warm modern honey. I am actually literally going to go downstairs and make myself a Tulsi tea with honey. There's a local honey place that's really awesome. That's perfect for allergies. Yeah. Okay. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. See you in a week. Bye-bye.